Richard Rawlings has always loved being in the spotlight. He's the star of Fast and Loud and the person who started Gas Monkey Garage. He turned a simple Dallas car shop into a huge business empire that includes cars, restaurants, merchandise, and even whiskey. Everything he built was powered by his wild energy and his bigger-than-life personality. But now, fans are shocked after hearing a sudden update from Rawlings himself. It's an admission that shows just how much the years of fame, business, and personal struggles have worn him down. For someone who has always loved being loud, bold, and in charge, his words have left people stunned, and many are wondering, is this the beginning of the end for Gas Monkey's king? To understand why this latest confession is so important, you need to look back at the story behind the man. Richard's journey was never easy. He's lived through very public highs and lows. His famous partnership with Aaron Kaufman ended in a breakup that fans still argue about today. His messy divorce from Suzanne left deep scars that affected his public image. And his quick romance and marriage to Katerina Diersum, a relationship that looked perfect on Instagram but made people talk and wonder. Add to that the constant hard work of running Gas Monkey, the lawsuits, the employees leaving, and the pressure of carrying a TV empire, and you start to see the cracks behind the brand. And then there's Richard himself. For years, whispers about burnout, the damage from non-stop filming, and even worries about his health have hung around the edges of his empire. He's admitted that the hustle never stops, but now, for the first time, he's opening up about just how much that hustle has cost him. By the end of this video, we'll reveal the shocking update Richard has dropped, the kind of personal admission that fans never saw coming. An update that could change not only his career, but his legacy. Long before the world knew his name, Richard Rawlings was already chasing thrills and excitement. Born and raised in Fort Worth, Texas, he didn't follow a straight path to fame. He worked as a firefighter, then as a police officer, and even drove ambulances before finding what he was meant to do. To Richard, these weren't just jobs, they were training grounds. Each job fueled his hustler's spirit, making stronger the determination that would later power Gas Monkey Garage. Cars were always his passion. By his early 20s, he was buying, fixing up and trading vehicles, often scraping together just enough cash to move on to the next deal. His eye for opportunity was amazing. Unlike most car lovers who saw cars as hobbies, Richard saw them as stepping stones to something bigger. His gamble paid off in 2002 when he sold his printing business and poured everything into his dream, opening Gas Monkey Garage in Dallas. At first, it was just another shop, basic, rough, and under constant money problems. But Richard had more than tools. In his hand, he had vision. He built a brand around speed, rebellion, and raw personality. When television producers came calling to level way to the trowel, we will remove apart the shopstrug between the channel in the next work. When television producers came calling to level way to the trowel, they will remove apart the shopstrug. Television producers came calling, he knew it was his big chance. Fast and Loud premiered in 2012, and almost overnight, Rawlings went from local hustler to international star. His personality was the perfect match for TV. Loud, quick, always closing a deal, Richard wasn't just selling cars, he was selling himself. Fans loved it. Gas Monkey Garage became a household name. Its logo was everywhere, on shirts, whiskey bottles, restaurants, even music festivals. Richard Rawlings had made it. But with every empire comes a cost, and for Richard, the cracks started to show sooner than anyone expected. To many fans, the true magic of Fast and Loud wasn't just Richard's big personality. It was the chemistry between him and master mechanic Aaron Kaufman. Richard was the showman, the wheeler-dealer who bought cars, negotiated, and brought the fire. Aaron was the craftsman, the bearded builder who turned junk into gold with skill and precision. Together, they were unstoppable. But as the cameras rolled and the pressure of production grew, tension began to build. Richard loved the fast lane. He wanted cars bought, fixed up, and sold at lightning speed, keeping episodes quick and entertaining. Aaron, on the other hand, hated the shortcuts. He believed in doing things right, not fast. To him, television deadlines were choking the craft. What fans saw as friendly teasing was behind the scenes a growing divide. By 2017, the partnership broke. Aaron Kaufman walked away, shocking fans who saw him as the heart of Gas Monkey Garage. His exit was explained as creative differences, but to many, it was clear. Richard's vision of fame and business clashed too hard with Aaron's love for craftsmanship. The fallout was brutal. Fans flooded social media, blaming Richard for pushing Aaron out. For the first time, Richard wasn't seen as the hero of Gas Monkey. He was painted as the villain. And though Richard kept the show alive, the shadow of that fallout has never left. To this day, fans point to Aaron's departure as the turning point, the moment when Gas Monkey Garage stopped being about cars and became a story of drama, personality clashes, and survival under the weight of fame. While Richard was juggling the pressures of business and television, his personal life was quietly falling apart. His marriage to Suzanne, whom he had married twice in his life, became strained under the weight of his non-stop hustle. Fame, long filming schedules, constant travel, and the endless demands of expanding Gas Monkey left little room for balance. At first, Suzanne was seen as a supportive partner, someone who understood Richard's big dreams. But behind the flashy cars and the wild persona, there were cracks, rumors of arguments, long stretches of absence, and struggles to keep the marriage together followed them. Divorce filings made headlines, and though details remained private, fans could see the toll it was taking. Richard may have been riding high professionally, but personally, he was paying a heavy price that hit Richard harder than he let on. For a man who thrived on showing confidence, the failure of his marriage revealed weaknesses he rarely admitted. It showed that the Gas Monkey empire came at a cost far deeper than money or fame. It was cutting into his personal life. Publicly, Richard masked the pain with his trademark swagger. Privately, it was another storm he had to weather. But this wasn't the last time his personal life would make headlines, because after Suzanne, Richard found love again in Katarina Dierson. And while it looked like a fairy tale from the outside, that story would carry its own weight of drama. After the end of his marriage to Suzanne, Richard Rawlings' personal life once again became a headline story. But in 2019, he surprised fans with a quick romance that seemed like something out of a Hollywood movie. Richard proposed to Katarina Dierson, the ex-wife of billionaire Darwin Dees, during a fancy getaway in Mexico. Within weeks, photos filled social media, resemblance, yachts, champagne glasses, and the kind of luxury that even Gas Monkey fans weren't used to seeing from Richard. Katarina was glamorous, elegant, and quickly became part of Richard's public image. On Instagram, the two showed a picture-perfect lifestyle. They traveled often, dined in five-star restaurants, and seemed inseparable. For fans, it looked like Richard had finally found happiness after years of personal trouble. But, as is often the case, reality was more complicated than appearances. Behind the carefully chosen posts, whispers of tension began to spread. Running a multi-million-dollar brand like Gas Monkey left Richard with little time for privacy. The same hustle that once strained his first marriage was still very much a part of his life. Business trips, TV obligations, and the endless grind of managing Gas Monkey's empire meant less time at home. The comparisons to his past relationship weren't lost on fans either. Could this marriage handle the same pressures that had destroyed the last? Some guessed that the fancy lifestyle only added more stress. Expectations to keep up appearances to match the wealth and glamour that came with Katarina's past. For Richard, Katarina represented a fresh start. But the question remained, was he truly ready to slow down for love, or was this another chapter where his empire would always come first? While Richard's personal life made headlines, his professional empire was becoming more demanding than ever. Gas Monkey Garage wasn't just a shop anymore, it had become a brand. Restaurants, merchandise lines, whiskey labels, concerts, sponsorship deals, and of course Fast and Loud itself. On the outside, it looked like an unstoppable machine. On the inside, it was a pressure cooker. Television production is brutal, deadlines are tight, the demand for drama is constant. and every build had to not only succeed but entertain millions of viewers. Richard wasn't just managing cars, he was managing storylines, employees, producers, and contracts. Lawsuits came up, former employees' appointments. Former employees walked away, some quietly, others with public fights that raised eyebrows. The bigger Gas Monkey became, the harder it was to keep it all together. Richard thrived on chaos. He built his image on speed, deals, and living life at 100 miles an hour. But as years passed, that chaos started draining him. The fun of fixing up cars gave way to boardroom meetings, branding discussions, and endless business calls. The dream had grown, but so had the weight of carrying it. Fans noticed a change. On screen, Richard still had the fast-talking charm, but off-screen he seemed more guarded, more worn down. Interviews showed a man who still loved the spotlight, but looked clearly tired from chasing it. The Gas Monkey empire had made him rich and famous, but it also demanded everything from him: time, energy, and health. And the truth was becoming clear. Gas Monkey was no longer just about cars. It was about survival. Richard Rawlings' persona has always been tied to excess. Cars, parties, whiskey, women. Gas Monkey lifestyle was larger than life, and Richard leaned into it. On TV, it made him magnetic. Off TV, it raised questions about how long he could keep it up. The car community is close-knit, and whispers spread quickly. Some fans guessed that Richard's hard-partying ways were starting to catch up with him. Photos appeared where he looked more tired than before, his energy noticeably lower compared to his early fast and loud years. Long nights, endless business trips, and constant appearances left little room for rest or recovery. Alcohol, a signature part of the Gas Monkey image, became another talking point. Richard himself often joked about whiskey and partying, but behind the jokes were real concerns. Could his body keep up with the lifestyle he'd been living for decades? Even loyal fans began to wonder if his sharpness was slipping, if the deals weren't closing quite as fast, if the showman was beginning to fade. The fame that once fueled him had become a double-edged sword. He couldn't walk into a bar without being recognized, couldn't post online without fans picking apart every detail, couldn't live privately even if he wanted to. And while Richard thrived on attention, the toll of being Richard Rawlings 24/7 was undeniable. The whispers grew louder. Was the Gas Monkey king burning out? Or worse, was the very lifestyle that built his empire now tearing it down from the inside? For all the flash and excitement of Richard Rawlings' whirlwind marriage to Katerina Deason, cracks began to show once the spotlight dimmed. In the early days, their Instagram accounts told a story of exotic trips, designer dinners, and two people enjoying the high life. But as Gas Monkey's pressures mounted and Richard poured more time into business, fans noticed something different. Long gaps between photos of the couple, fewer appearances side by side, and a quieter tone from Katerina's end of the public image. The questions began. Were they still happy? Was Richard's all-consuming lifestyle creeping into this marriage the same way it had with Suzanne? Richard's empire was always demanding. Constant travel, late-night business calls, appearances at auctions, races, and media events. That doesn't leave much room for closeness. And for Katerina, it meant living in the shadow of the Gas Monkey brand. Fans, of course, guessed in online forums and comment sections. People picked apart every silence, every photo, every public outing. The whispers suggested tension about business stress, about Richard's long work hours, and about whether the relationship could last under the weight of his empire. Whether true or not, perception matters. And in Richard's world, perception is often just as powerful as reality. His marriage became another point of curiosity, another layer of strain in a life already filled with constant pressure. And as his personal life came under the microscope again, another wave of rumors began to swirl, this time about Richard's health. Richard Rawlings has always presented himself as unstoppable, the fast-talking, hard-partying, car-flipping king of Dallas who never slows down. But in recent years, fans have started to notice a change. His appearance showing signs of tiredness. Some noted changes in his weight. Others pointed out that he didn't seem as sharp or as physically strong as he once did in the early seasons of Fast and Loud. The whispers only grew louder. Could years of non-stop filming, constant stress, late nights and heavy drinking be catching up with him? Running a global brand, juggling lawsuits, managing employees, and carrying the gas monkey persona day and night isn't easy. Add to that a reputation for living life in the fast lane, and it's no wonder fans began to fear something deeper might be going on. Online forums have been flooded with guessing. Was Richard hiding health issues? Was he deliberately stepping back from the spotlight to focus on recovery? The lack of clear answers only fueled the conversation. For someone who built his empire on being everywhere all the time, any sign of slowing down was glaringly obvious. Richard never openly admitted to major health problems, but he has acknowledged stress, exhaustion, and the toll that comes with running Gas Monkey. For a man who once seemed larger than life, even a glimpse of weakness was enough to shake fans, and it set the stage perfectly for the moment he finally spoke out, delivering an update that left the car world stunned. And then Richard Rawlings himself broke the silence. After years of guessing about his shop, his marriage, his lifestyle, and his health, he finally admitted something that fans never expected to hear. The Gas Monkey empire has come at a price, and it's a price he's no longer willing to ignore. Richard confessed that the hustle, the fame, and the non-stop grind have taken a toll not just on his body, but on his personal life. For the first time, he openly acknowledged that stepping back may be the only way to move forward. Whether that means slowing down on appearances, scaling back the empire, or focusing more on family, one thing was clear. Rawlings wasn't the untouchable showman anymore. He was a man facing reality. Fans reacted instantly. Some expressed shock, others relief. Many praised his honesty, seeing it as a rare glimpse behind the Gas Monkey mask. Finally, he's being real, some said. Others feared this could signal the beginning of the end for Gas Monkey Garage as fans have known it. But true to form, Richard left the world with a cliffhanger. He didn't reveal exactly what comes next. Will he leave TV behind? Will he reinvent Gas Monkey once again? Or will this confession be the first step in a new, quieter chapter of his life? One thing is certain, this update has shaken fans to their core. Richard Rawlings built an empire on speed, risk, and excess. But now, as he admits the weight of it all, the future of Gas Monkey hangs in the balance.